Welcome to another Zombicide vlog, my video log of playing some Zombicide. And Zombicide is not the only game we're going to be playing. We're going to be doing some Sword and Sorcery, some Galactic Defenders, and some Massive Darkness. I'm just going to focus on 4 games and jump around between them, you know, with all the extra content and different ways to expand them beyond the base content. That's what this is going to be about, coming up with special rules and doing stuff beyond the base content, like player created scenarios and missions and things like that. But today I want to talk a key important part about replayability and expanding your gameplay experience in Zombicide, whether it's Green Plague, Green Horde, or Black Plague, Green Horde, or Green Plague, or even the new Zombicide Invaders. There's enough characters going around there, you can do the same thing. But there's more available in the Black Plague or in the Green Horde genre. So if you guys got the Kickstarters for both, then you have a stack of characters or survivors that looks like this. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to draft a team of 6 people. I'm going to show you how I do my draft, and then we are going to see if we can look at them and see how we could pick the best cards to make up a team of 6 that could win a mission. I'm not going to play a mission with the team of 6. I believe I have enough experience with the game to give you a good opinion of how they would perform together and what skills I would take and how I would approach each mission. So let me just... that. Okay, so I have all the player cards that I have shuffled up, and it's going to be a 6-player game. So for each player, I'm going to pick 2 cards. So this one and this one, this one and this one, this one and this one. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, looking at the back of the cards that we have here, here's what we have. You're not going to be able to see them all right away, and the glare is going to be pretty bad on that one. So, I have 6 sets of 2 cards. Now, immediately I see one card's going to be disqualified, but you don't get to pick a new one. So, let's flip these over here, and let's start with player 1 and see what he wants to pick for his first card. So we do have some good choices here. I see a couple that I'm aware of that are pretty good. But for his first card, he got a seam. He can hold a curved dagger in his body slot, which is actually pretty good. It's like a regular dagger, but it's from Green Horde. He has taunt, and then in orange, he has 1 free melee or 1 free move. And then in red, +1 die roll to melee, bloodlust, melee, or reaper combat. So, well, we'll see. And then we have Gannicus. He can hold Tremor in his spell slot, or his body slot. He can hold the spell Tremor instead of armor. He has the taunt ability, so he got 2 people with taunt. So then he has 1 free melee shove, and then 1+ damage melee, 1 free melee action, or 1 free move action. So just looking at these 2 characters for player 1 and not knowing what anybody else has, as the first player, both my blue skills are taunt, so I don't really have a choice on this. But the more versatile, other than a seam having the curved dagger, I believe is Gannicus, because he can get either +1 melee or shove. And shove is a decent skill mid-game, and that's when this skill would pop. But the late game of +1 damage melee, him being able to kill a lot of the abominations with like a hammer or a 2 damage melee weapon, is pretty good. So our first member of the team is going to be Gannicus. So Now, the second player is going to have a kind of an issue because he got Thorg, and he needs to carry Krieg. So we didn't get Krieg, so we're going to draw another card for him. So he got Baldric or Thundergut. Now, Thundergut starts with a hammer, so you would actually be able to dual wield hammers turn 1 if you take another hammer as starting equipment. So, and then he gets +1 dice melee or Reaper melee, +1 dice melee, free combat action, or roll a 6 and you get 1+ die. Now, Thundergut's pretty good because you're going to be dual wielding hammers, and you can get either Reaper or +1 die melee. If you take +1 die melee, you're going to be rolling 4 dice if you're still dual wielding hammers and you're killing everything but A-bombs. If you take Reaper, you'll be rolling 2 dice, but you get that extra person. So that's a personal preference. See how the game's going. I like to see what weapons I get later in the game, because you can also get another +1 die melee in red, which gives you, if you took both of those, you're looking at 6 dice per attack with dual hammers. Or you can have 1 free combat action, or the roll 6, get 1 extra die. Never been a fan of that. It's too risky. A lot of times you don't roll 6s, and +1 die guarantees you +1 die. So now let's check at Baldric here. Now he's a spellcaster, and we already got a melee guy with Gannicus. So we have a spellcaster Baldric here. He got spellcaster for his first skill, so he can cast the spell for free. So he immediately starts out with 4 actions if the first one's a magic, if one of those is a magic zone. And then he can get 1+1 free magic action. He can get spell book, where he can cast anything in his bag, +1 die magic, +1 free combat action, +1 die roll melee, and he can hold a sword in his body slot. Now I think that, from the looks of things, I think we're going to need a mage. As much as I think Thundergut and his extra hammer, I think we're going to need a mage, because if you look at what we have here, we have a lot of melee characters. So I'm going to discard Thundergut and pick Baldric. So now we have 2. I'll zoom out on the, you can see their skills anyways. I'll zoom out on the in a moment, but that's our 2. Now let's look at the next player. Got Clom and Urena. Urena has jump, +1 free melee action or hit and run, and then in red, +1 free combat action, +1 die to the die roll melee or Reaper combat. Getting a lot of Reapers. She can hold a sword in her body slot. It's not bad. Jump's pretty good. Free melee action's good. But I think Clom is going to win this one out. He has Barbarian in blue, which means if there's 5 zombies in the square, you roll 5 dice. It's not as good as Iron Rain or Mana Rain, but it is a good skill compared to Jump and what she can have, because he can also have Super Strength in orange or +1 die roll to melee, which is all good also if you're throwing, Barbarian stuff. And then he can also, in red, get Bloodlust melee, Regeneration, or Shove. Regeneration, he's taking all your hits, he regenerates, and he's got Super Strength, and he can hold an axe in his body slot. Clom's the winner in this one. So far, we have 3 people for our team. Our next person, I think, is going to be... let's see here. Well, see, we got 2 tough choices. We got Princess Alea or Lawrence. Lawrence has +1 max range on his bow. He can hold a long bow in his slot. He can get +1 free ranged action on marksman, so he's picking his targets. You get him the Orcus crossbow, heavy crossbow. He's doing 3 damage, killing melee. You get him a chaos longbow. He's creating dragonfire. So, yeah, or then in red, he can get +1 free combat action, +1 move action, or +1 to the die roll ranged. We need a bow guy, but we have another bow guy coming up. So, now we have Princess Alaya. Now she has super strength, and then she has +1 melee or lifesaver. And then we come into the red, +1 free combat action, +1 to the die roll melee and shove. And she can hold Tremor in her body slot. This is what we refer to as Wonder Woman. She's super powerful. Super strength, turn 1. Is, in my opinion, a little bit broken. And in a normal game of Zombicide, and if I had to draft characters, a whole team of 6, with the 3 that I've already picked, having Clom be able to get super strength in orange, and then Genikis getting +1 damage melee in red, I think a additional bowman that has +1 max range, that means on a short bow he's shooting it 2 squares away, and then he can get +1 of the dice roll ranged. You get him a chaos longbow. He's starting to hit on 3s. He gets 4 hits. That's a tough choice. Let's go back to these 2 and see how the other 2 slots fill. Because that one's a tough choice. That's a real tough choice. Okay, so our 5th player got Lord Balzac, and Megan. Okay, Megan is going to be another spellcaster. She can do double casting, which means she can cast the same spell twice. And then she can have +1 free melee action or spellbook, and then +1 free combat action, +1 die roll magic, +1 die roll melee. I believe she's a starting character from Green Horde. She can hold the speed spell instead. So, if you have access to all the spells from all the games, you can give one Teleconnect Blast or in 1 Mana Blast. But if you don't have access to all those, you're only going to need 1 spellcaster. So, Lord Bazak here has +1 to the die roll melee, and then he can take 1 free melee action or Ironhide, which is fantastic. You get an armor save against abominations. Bloodlust melee, roll 6 +1 die or shove. This guy, you get him a great sword. He's hitting on 4s instead of 5s. So, I think we're going to go with 1 spellcaster, and we're going to take a Lord of Bozak. I think that's what we're going to do. So, let's go to the next one is Rolf and Johannes. Rolf has one of my favorite early game skills is Bloodlust Melee. Move up to 2 spaces and attack. +1 action, and for his orange, +1 free melee action or jump, and then +1 free combat action, battle rage or shove. I'm not sure what battle rage does, and my book's not near me. I think he can roll for every person that's in his square. He rolls an extra dice. He can hold a great axe. Don't quote me on the battle rage thing. I haven't used that skill. Or we have Johannes here. He can hold a crossbow. He can transmutate in blue. Then he gets +1 free ranged action, +1 die to the dice roll. And then a 1 free ranged action, +1 mic ranged or reaper ranged. So, neither one of our bow people could do 3 damage that we have to choose from. Let's just look at these 2 bow people and see which one we're going to pick here. Here's the 2 stat ranges. So if we did take Lawrence, he would get They both could get the same amount of actions. They both could end up with the same. Well, let's see. I'm gonna think that's a tough choice. You can go either way you want, but I think Lawrence would be better with something like the Chaos Longbow, with the free ranged action and a +1 dice roll to ranged, plus the max 1 range, hitting 4 squares away, creating dragon fire on 3s. I think that would be the way to go. So Lawrence is going to be in. Princess Alea is out. Oops. That was mixed up. And then Rolf is in. So let's take a look at our team one more time. We have Rolf. We have Gannicus, Lawrence, Baldric, Clom, Lord Bazak, and then we're back to Ralph. So nobody starts with any starting equipment, but they all have very useful starting skills. Taunt, not so much, but Bloodlust melee, +1 max range. +1 max range early game with the short bow, hitting on 3s is very good because, you know, you always get that first turn where a door is 1 space away and you move to open it, and it spawns 3 runners or 3 walkers or 3 NPCs or a couple Deadeye walkers, and you only have 1 action. You can't get in the room and kill them. But Lawrence from the starting square can hit them with the short bow with 3 turns. So he's got a chance to take them all out. And then you have a guy like Rolf that can Bloodlust in after, take them all out. And then if necessary, you can taunt them all 1 square for the Barbarian to clean up, or for Lord Balzac to clean up right there. So this is my fantasy draft team here. I hope you enjoyed this video of drafting. I think it's a cool team. I am going to draft. I'm going to do a couple of these drafting videos where I draft 2 cards per player, and I'm going to keep them separate because in our gaming group we're going to use these guys and see how we do. I'm not going to use them in my solo playthrough because I film those and it just takes a lot longer to film them. If I draft a really good team one time, or one that looks really exciting, I'll film a quick mission, just a standard mission with nothing added, no craziness added to it, like 17 Abominations like I normally play. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Let's not forget the joke of the day. What do planets like to read? Comic books. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like these draft videos where I talk about different characters that are drafted, or the method I draft them, leave a comment below, ask me questions, all that good stuff, and I'll try to get back to you and answer them. And we're gonna be on Zombicide for a while, but I have some cool content for Sword and Sorcery that I haven't even looked at yet. That is gonna be cool to show you guys in a couple gameplays of that, because I should be able to do it in my new work area because I have the little bit extra room. Can't do things like Galaxy Defenders. I don't have the room for that because you need to see the character cards in order to play that game. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Again, thank you so much, and you guys have a fantastic